Here's your host, Alex Garrett. Repeat this belly breath a couple of more times, becoming more relaxed with each breath that you breathe.
Well, I've got to tell you, the latest meditation from my stepdad, Victor Furman, is up on his YouTube page, and he is someone who is truly giving a calm within this storm we're dealing with every day now. So I urge you to visit his YouTube channel for some meditation if you are one to meditate, and if you are not, if you need some calmness, I think my dad Vic has been supplying that. Now, I want to give you some other calming news. Amazing news, actually. You may not be hearing these stories, but did you know, firstly, that like 100-year-old and even 101-year-old, some elderly patients are surviving coronavirus. One in particular has been highlighted by iHeartRadio. 99-year-old World War II veteran, once held prison by the Nazis, beats coronavirus. Now, let me tell you this story, because on the Saturday sit down, that's all I want to talk about is things I'm learning in the quarantine and good stories that are happening in this fight against corona. His name is Albert Chambers. He was a former British Army soldier. He was wounded in battle and held in a Nazi prison camp for 3 years during World War II. On Friday, this past Friday, hospital workers applauded Chambers as they sent him home following his victory over coronavirus. That is amazing. That is astounding. That is incredible. That really deserves for Mr. Albert Chamber. I am so proud of this man, and I'm so proud that of the hospital that got him through it. Chambers' grandson, Stephen Gator, said, you know what? His grandfather's military fortitude was crucial to him beating the pandemic disease. So, one advice I have for you, if you're wrapped up in the anxiousness and the anxiety and the times of the world, find the good news. Find the news of survival, of hope. Find the news that we can get out of this tunnel, or you will just go crazy thinking otherwise. You really, really would. Of course, New York City urging people to stay in during the Easter season, and then furthermore, they've shut down the rest of the academic school year as far as going to school. So I'm sure graduations, that's going to be emotional for people whose graduations will not happen in the school system. But you know what? We will take this day by day and see how it goes. And one other thing I'd like to encourage people to do is just speak existence, the idea of hope, the idea of let's get back to normal. Let's fight this, but also work to get back to normal. We're seeing too much doom and gloom for us to survive this. We cannot let people who on our screens want to tell us what to do when maybe it's not always the best option. Maybe there is a chance to move forward. I believe in that mentality more so than the mentality of stay in your homes till October. No, that is not happening. That should not be happening for anybody. We would all go crazy. The will of the people would be ruined. We cannot let them say you need to stay home past July. There's got to be a better way. We must speak into existence that better way. Now, what I wanted to talk about on this Saturday sit down was actually about conservation. So I, maybe you are too, feel like you can be a waster of certain things, a waster of time, a waster of materials, a waster of energy. Well, maybe this quarantine's helped you become a conserver, a conserving sort. And not going into too much details, I have medical supplies that need to be thrown out. So, what I learned this week was that with this plastic bag ban still on the horizon, still coming, I think they've extended it until May 15th or something, I don't know. They extended the exemption period for it. But once it hits, it will hit, and it will hit New Yorkers hard. It will hit New Yorkers so hard because what seems like a plethora of plastic bags right now may not be in the next couple months. And that's an unnerving feeling, right? So maybe if you took a little more mindfulness with this, the way we change garbage bags, the way we change plastic bags, if you use plastic bags as your garbage bag, instead of constantly using a fresh one to put things in to throw out right away, why not throw out the stuff with already used garbage? Save the fresh one so that you're not really wasting an extra garbage bag. See, it's not the same. If you have a fresh bag, even garbage bag, but you use that, but you have another bag with stuff in it, you might say, well, what's the difference? Both are going to have a garbage. Well, one was bound to be thrown out anyway, right? One was bound to be thrown out. So therefore, we shouldn't be wasting an extra plastic bag, especially in this time. Maybe this time can teach us how to conserve energy, conserve things, conserve money. Online shopping is still a thing. People still order online, and maybe that's because they can't go in physically to a store now. But conservation could be a huge thing we learn here. Because things that we take for granted now are going to be out the wayside by the summer. Because bans will be lifted and delays on bans will be lifted and the plastic bag ban will go into effect. It will hurt New Yorkers. But there's a way we can get around that. The more we do to save our fresh plastic bags we have in the house or apartment could be a game changer if we find ourselves, so we don't find ourselves scrambling right away. But that's sort of a thing on life. If you've got something that's already filling up your mind, toss it out, maybe even podcast about it, then throw it out of your mind and put the new stuff in. Don't loop the new thoughts with the old ones, because then all your energy will be used up on everything. No, conserve your energy during this time, because if we don't, we're going to get burned out even staying at home, and we don't want that burnout. And I know this is the time where thoughts can just pile up one after the other, literally like a trash bag. Thoughts, trash bag after trash bag. Thoughts piling up, deep thoughts, dark thoughts, good thoughts, all of it. Maybe it's time we, like the plastic bag idea I have, which is to use a fresh one when only needed, and consciously think about it too. Don't just throw something into one bag that's not even used yet. Think about, oh wait, there's another bag there, which has garbage. Let me just finish that bag off now, and then we'll be done with it. See, by compounding everything, you actually waste more energy and more plastic bags. And what I mean by that is, by compounding a fresh bag with the stuff that you need to throw out, you just wasted another opportunity for a fresh plastic bag. By compounding your brain with thoughts of the future and maybe looking at it looking bleak or not bleak, I don't know, you've just wasted a minute thinking about that. So processing the thoughts that are in your head, writing them down, podcasting about it, blogging about it, something to express yourself, to conserve the energy for some good news, would be so much better than saying, oh, look, here's some good news, but now let me think about the bad news. No, think about everything separately if you can, if that makes sense. Think about the stuff rattling in your brain right now and fix that and get it done, taken care of. Then let the new thoughts that might be in your subconscious or wherever creep in and you can work on them. It's like an assembly line, really. Because I don't know if we're conserving our energy enough, our mental energy anyway, our emotional energy anyway. I think we're all kind of just rattled by this, and instead of thoroughly processing it one by one, we're not conserving ourselves. We're just burning ourselves out just by thinking about the situation. And that's not going to be healthy for anybody in the long run. Not going to be healthy for anybody in the long run. So just take this one step at a time, one process at a time. So consciously look at your garbage cans while you're at it. Say, hey, why am I putting stuff in a new bag when the old bag of trash still has things in there? I could just put this in the bag of trash, the current bag, and leave the new bag for another time. That way we're not wasting one after the other. And amazingly, dealing with medical supplies my whole life, I've finally found out the way to do this. Because if you don't, you can run out of materials pretty quickly. What about you? What have you learned during this quarantine? alex.garrett21@yahoo.com. alex.garrett21@yahoo.com. It's not an extended Saturday sit down. It's kind of this. And if you like it, subscribe. If you want to hear more, I'll be back on with more. In fact, tomorrow for Easter, I'll be back kind of bringing you through St. John the Divine, because yes, they're no longer a hospital use, but there are some interesting aspects I'd like to play for you, and Paul Winter is one of them. I'll break it down for you tomorrow. It is my 29th Easter on this earth. Pretty crazy to think. And it's a blessed weekend. It's a weekend to reflect and to love each other even more, and to be there for each other, even from social distancing perspective too. I hope you are there for your loved ones during the time. I hope you are there for your friends and family. And I hope you're thinking about the way we can conserve our energy. Because right now, everybody's energy is so up in the air. It's like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to do in my next day. I don't know what I'm going to do another day housed in. I don't know. It is called cabin fever. But I know that the way to process all of this is to just take one thought at a time and work through each thought. Instead of wasting your brain on a whole bunch of thoughts, maybe it's time we just process one thought after the other. My cousin reminded me, there are people still going, yeah, I did fail to mention that. Shout out this week to, once again, the techies, the producers, the engineers that had to trek into their radio stations and as essential workers or TV stations to help put these people, these hosts on the air. Going into the battle zone of New York to put radio on the air is a courageous effort in and of itself, and we applaud all those behind the scenes, in studio, working behind the scenes, from home, anywhere. We applaud all those as we're making sure that the radio and TV channels keep on going. I'm Alexander Garrett. Have a great rest of your silent Saturday.